We're going into a very dark winter. Things are going to get much tougher before they get easier. And that requires sparing no effort to fight COVID so that we can open our businesses safely, resume our lives, and put this pandemic behind us. It's going to be difficult, but it can be done. For millions of Americans who've lost hours and wages or have lost their jobs, we all agreed on our call that we can deliver immediate relief and it need be done quickly.
President-elect Joe Biden yesterday speaking about revitalizing the economy. And joining us now, former Treasury official and Morning Joe economic analyst Steve Rattner, who has charts on where the economy stands amid the raging pandemic. And Steve, the president always says he has the best economy in the whole world and the best economy that's ever been. But, the numbers are so interesting because there are deep pockets of people in this pandemic whose businesses have been decimated indefinitely or permanently.
There are many people who've been hurt badly and in some cases, as you say, permanently. And it looked like we were getting out of this for a while. And the data is very early, but the data is worrisome. The huge rise in infections that you talked about earlier has taken its toll or beginning to take its toll. And we can look at that a couple ways, starting with the way people move around. In order to have an economic recovery that's moving fast, people need to be out of their house and shopping and so forth. And what you can see on this first chart is the huge drop-off in mobility during the March near shutdown that we had. You can see the climb back, and this is Americans spending time out of their house. And then you can see all on the right where the vertical dotted line is, how this peaked. It was actually on October 7th and has come down since then and is now, it's went from 7.1% below where it had been at the beginning of the year in January to 9.5% below where it was at the beginning of the year. So this is a worrisome trend. And if you take a look at the next chart, you can see how this translates into people's actual spending. So this tracks credit card data by Chase Bank, and not surprisingly, amount of spending using credit cards followed a very similar pattern to what you just saw. And again, all the way over on the right, where I've put the dotted line, you can see that a few weeks ago, it almost got back to where it had been before, and then it kind of rolled over. And it is now down 2.7 percentage points from where it almost got back to. So people are spending less money on their credit cards, not only, by the way, in stores, but also online. And if you take a look at the last chart, you can see that there is potentially some impact of all of this on jobs. So this shows you the dark blue line and the blue dots are what the monthly job figures are that are actually announced by the government. And the orange line is a measure that JP Morgan developed using other data to try to predict or track on a more real-time basis what's happening in jobs. And you can see how close they were throughout this pandemic. But again, if you go to the right and you see the last jobs number that we got officially where that vertical line is, and you see the blue dot essentially on top of the orange dot, and what you see since then, orange line, what you see since then is the orange line drifting down. And that could even suggest the possibility that in the next month or two, we could begin to actually start to lose jobs in this country based on the Department of Labor reports.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.